Hey, what's up you guys, it's Connor, and today I'm going to do part 2 of my May wrap-up and tell you the second half of the books that I read in the month of May. So let's just get cracking with the wrap-up. The first book that I read is The Unbound by Victoria Schwab. This is the second book in the archived duology, and it follows a character named Mackenzie who works for this place called the Archived, who keeps a copy of every single dead person's body filled with the memories of each person. Sometimes these bodies, which are called histories, wake up, and it's Mackenzie's job to make sure that these histories don't make it to what's called the outer, which is the real world where the rest of us live. Victoria Schwab's writing is just incredible. I'm so excited to read Vicious because I own it and I haven't read it yet. I think she did a really good job of dealing with PTSD and, continuing the story about Mackenzie, and I thought it was very believable and I really liked it a lot. I thought this actually ended up being a really good ending to the duology. I can definitely see why publishers decided to stop it after 2. If she decides to write a third book, I will 100% read it, but I think that it ended pretty well. You're not going to be disappointed if you decide to pick up the Archived and read the Unbound that the series didn't continue. It's a very good place, I think, and I can see why it's just a duology. Overall, I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. At the very beginning, I thought Mackenzie was a little whiny and I wasn't too keen on her, but then as time went on, I found myself falling deeper and deeper into the story and getting very invested, and I really enjoyed that. And I think it was just really well done. 5 out of 5 stars. Then I picked up Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, and this book follows a character named Selena Sardothian. She is an assassin, and at the beginning of the book she is offered a chance by the Crown Prince to compete in this tournament-style competition to become the assassin of the king. Basically, Selena doesn't really have a choice because she's being kept in a work camp, and she will die if she decides to stay there, so she takes the offer and she goes to the capital and competes. This is a really fun YA high fantasy series, and I think that it has a lot of potential. I really enjoyed this book. I gave it a 4.5 stars out of 5 stars because there were some things that I didn't like too much about it. I didn't like that Selena is supposed to be this badass assassin, and in every single chapter she is caught off guard and surprised by someone. If you reread this book, if you've already read it, or if you read it for the first time, pay attention to that and count how many times she is surprised by someone sneaking up on her. I'm like, if you're an assassin, you should definitely know if someone's sneaking up on you. This world has a really cool magic system that I'm very interested to see expanded. I'm not going to go into too many details because I don't want to give any spoilers. So yeah, I just really like the magic system. I think it holds a lot of promise, and I'm looking forward to reading the second book, which I already own. Also, question. I know they have that book of short stories, so I don't know if I should read that book before I move on to the second book, or if I can read the second book and then read these short stories. Someone let me know when I should read, I think it's called The Assassin Blades or something like that. Yeah, someone let me know when I should read that, because I will definitely be continuing along with this series. The next book I picked up is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. This is the first book in the Bone Season series, and I did a review for this book, so I'll leave that right here in that little eye symbol thing. This book follows a girl named Paige Mahoney who is a clairvoyant. Basically, clairvoyants are people that can access this spiritual realm that is running parallel to our realm. That's called the ether. Paige is what's called a jumper, and she can interact with the ether by pushing her spirit into it and separating it from her body. I gave this book a 3.5 stars out of 5 stars. I had a fair number of problems with it. I don't know if I'll be continuing along with the series or not. I might end up buddy reading it with Kristen from Cap 89X, but that's kind of up in the air currently. The next book that I read was Is Everyone Hanging Out Without Me and Other Concerns by Mindy Kaling. I plan to do a review for this, but then I can't find the paper that I wrote all my notes on, so I probably won't do one now. But this book is a memoir about Mindy and her life before she became famous, and kind of her journey into getting into comedy, into acting, and that sort of thing. I really enjoyed the book. I gave it a 4 stars out of 5 stars. There are a lot of places in it that I could relate to. She talks about this thing called Irish exits, which is so funny. I thought it was hilarious because I do that all the time, and I could definitely relate to some of the things that she was talking about. This book is mainly written for girls because she talks about a lot of girly things, and she addresses girls throughout the novel, but if you're a boy and you like Mindy Kaling, definitely you can read this book. It is great. I really enjoyed it, and it has made me want to pick up other memoirs by comedians. So I think my next one is either Yes Please or Bossy Pants. And yeah. Then I decided to finish the Unwound Astrology with Undivided, which is the 4th book in the series. This series is by Neil Shusterman, and it follows a group of characters living in a dystopian world where people between the ages of 13 and 17 can be what's called unwound, and their bodies are harvested for their parts and sold to the highest bidder. Neil Shusterman is one of my favorite authors, or at least he was when I was a teenager, and so I was really glad to finish this series off. I did not like the 3rd book in the series. It was not very good, in my opinion. But this one was good. It was a nice conclusion to the series. I think if I had to describe this book in one word, it would be convenient. It was very, very convenient. Everything was convenient, and everything was just so incredibly convenient. I gave this book a 4 stars out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I think I might bump it down to 3.5 or 3.75 in my brain, because you can't really do half stars on Goodreads. I think it could have ended a lot better, but I did enjoy it, so I gave it a 4 stars out of 5 stars. Then I also decided to finish the Air Chronicles by Cinda Williams-Shyma with the Sorcerer Air, which is the 5th book in the series. In this series, there are 5 different types of what's called were, and were are humans that have this thing called a were stone that is kind of just inside their body, and it's actually a physical stone. It's a thing. The 5 different classes of were are wizards, sorcerers, enchanters, seers, and warriors. And you are whatever werestone that you have. If you have a wizard werestone, you are a wizard. Every book in this series follows a different character, so you get a bunch of different perspectives in this world, but none of the characters disappear forever. They all show up in all the other books. You see them in passing, or they play a role in the story, and I enjoyed that about the books, and you got to see the world in a lot of different ways. The series is originally a trilogy and then got expanded to 5 books, so the last 2 books are kind of their own duology that deals with a separate issue than the first 3 books. So if you're going into the series, know that the first 3 books are going to deal with one thing, and then the next 2 books are dealing with a separate issue. I think I gave this book a 4 stars out of 5 stars. I'm not exactly sure. I can't check right now because I'm filming this with my phone, but I enjoyed the ending of the series. It wasn't my favorite in the series. I just didn't think that the last 2 books were necessary, but I did enjoy it, so 4 out of 5 stars. I then moved on to an epic fantasy series by Brandon Stavely, which is called The Emperor Blades. This is the first book in the Chronicle of the Unhewn, that's a weird word, throne. This book follows 3 different characters who are all children to an emperor who is, at the beginning of the book, murdered. The first child, I'm pretty sure the firstborn child is a child named Adair. I think she's the oldest, and because she's a girl, she is not the heir to the throne, but she has done really well for herself. She is a minister of finances, and so she is living in the capital and having to deal with all the repercussions of the emperor being murdered and having to, secure the throne for one of her brothers. I think the next oldest character, his name is Valen. He is training to be a Ketrel, which is kind of a badass warrior. They fly around on these huge birds, but because he doesn't have the right eye color, he cannot inherit the throne, and so the throne is going to his younger brother, Caden. Caden is the heir to the throne, and I think he's the youngest. I'm not sure. They don't really tell you who is older than who, but that was just kind of the vibe that I got. Caden is currently living with monks, and he is learning from them certain things that I'm not going to say because that would spoil things, and he's just having to adapt to living with them. And so they have very different things going on. The book is mainly about Valen and Caden, though. Adair only gets a couple of chapters. She's not very prevalent, which is fine to me because I didn't really like Adair. I thought she was just not very entertaining. I didn't like her chapters. I didn't think she was very interesting. This book is pretty violent, so if you're not going to be okay with extreme violence, then I would not say pick it up. But if you are, I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 4 stars out of 5 stars, and I will definitely be continuing with the next book. I think it came out already, so I'm gonna try to get that one and read it soon. And the last book that I read in May is Alcatraz versus the Knights of Cristralia. This is the 3rd book in the Alcatraz series by Brandon Sanderson. It is a middle grade series that follows a boy named Alcatraz Smedry, and basically the Smedry family, because they are very special in the fact that they each have what's called a talent, which is basically a superpower, and they are all kind of lame if you just list them out, but the ways that they use all these talents are really cool. Alcatraz's talent is to break things, so he can use that to break things in certain ways, or break things that you wouldn't necessarily think could be broken, and it's really fun. It's fast-paced, it's hilarious, it's very satirical, it's just sarcastic and wonderful, and I love it so much. I gave this book a 5 stars out of 5 stars. Really enjoyed it. I already ordered the 4th book in the series, and I can't wait to get it and read it and love it. So those are the books that I read in May. Down in the comments, let me know what you read in May, or if you did a wrap-up video yourself, let me know that as well. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos, and I'll see you next time. Bye!